what else? Coffee, tea, help yourself, water if you need to refill, and yes, please turn your cell phones off, for sure. Okay. And we'll wait. Is Ron coming in?
Yeah, he's coming in.
Okay, I'll wait for a second then before we...
Yeah, absolutely. Cool, thanks.
Okay. Oh, here comes somebody. Or not.
Or not.
And or not.
Here on the side.
Where did that go?
No, everything was shut there. All the lights are shut off. Oh, is she?
Hi there. Welcome home. All right. So,
Cool.
in introduction, I'm not exactly sure what all I want to say, except I really want to tell everybody about my session with him. But Ken Lloyd, he is a soul braided with 13 souls who came in how long ago?
6 years.
6 years ago.
6 years ago.
He has been staying under the radar, but we don't want him to, believe me. My session was so spectacular. Sign up as soon as you can. Maureen's nodding her head. She just had a session. Spectacular. And I don't really want to say a whole lot because he's going to tell his story, so I'm going to let him do so.
Yeah, cool. Thanks. Sunshine, do you want to come up here? Are you good?
Oh, I'm good. You did it all, that's fine.
Okay.
Right.
Thank you so
Alright.
much, Ken.
Cool, thank you. So, big shout out to Tasha,
Oh, thank you.
Jana, Sunshine, and wherever she's at, where's my anime? So you guys have been incredibly helpful, spreading the word and helping me out with the things that I need to get done. I'm going to try to keep my voice slow. They are pumping through me now, get chills out to the body, and I'll explain more about this as we move through. So again, I'll try to keep myself in check. I do have an outline. We'll see if I stick to it. Okay? And it's going to be fun. So I apologize. A little higher?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, yeah, that's great. So this is being recorded, and I've got it facing me so no one's in the recording, for privacy issues, but if you want to say hi to it, it's over there. Otherwise, it's all good. So there's really 3 things happening here. Tonight we're having a lecture. On Tuesday night at 7 o'clock, we're doing the group healing. Tonight, I'm going to give you a little bit of experience, or I could call it an experience of what the group healing is about. Now, many of you have already had the private sessions, and there's not that many slots available, but don't worry about it. The private sessions don't have to be in person. They are just as powerful over Zoom. In fact, many of you had them over Zoom before we got here. It doesn't matter if you're in front of me or you're 1,000 miles away. The same thing will happen. Beyond that, I'll be raising everybody's frequency tonight. All right, from your 3D to your 5D. Now, I know that's a buzzword, right? The ascension frequency, 3D to 5D, but I'm going to actually explain how that's working, all right? And before I get into it, I'll just wait till I get that part of it. So beyond that, I just ask everybody kind of check your energy levels. Just check your emotions or energy levels. Kind of take a little check mark. This is how I'm feeling right now. If you have aches and pains in the body, just kind of take note of that. And when we're all done, check again to see if you've had a shift. Okay, another need to know, but this is just for you. Cool. Beyond that, I know you've already shared a little bit of experience. I think everybody knows everybody who are pretty close to it. So you're all on the same, phone, the party line that we used to call it. So I don't think we need to talk about anybody's, specific experience. I think we're all good with that. I know there's a few new ones here, but you'll get the hang of it here pretty shortly. So, as she mentioned, I'm a soul brain walk-in. So what is that? So the common misnomer is I have 13 souls in me. I don't have 13 souls in me. I have 13 aspects in me. And every one of them are me. They're from another reality, another dimension, another timeline, but they're all happening now. And each one of them bring a gift or a talent in to this reality. Okay? I don't know the 13. They don't talk to me. I've had 1 or 2 conversations with them, but they really act as a collective, okay? And they're the ones that are modifying my body, which I'm going to talk about in just a moment. Again, I'm already coming off my script. So one of the things I do say in every lecture, I want it on camera, I'm not a doctor. I don't treat, I don't diagnose, all right? Don't get confused. This was for legal reasons. Right? School, and this is my story. So, my background, before my near-death experience, is I'm a cybersecurity entrepreneur. I've created 3 cybersecurity companies, and all 3 of them have been acquired. Okay, it's been a beautiful journey. I'm self-taught. I have no education beyond the things I read in books. I have no spirituality, no religion, no upbringing with any of that. I'm as plain Jane as could be, as left brain as you could possibly imagine. Okay, so it was the third acquisition, which was happening around 2018, that everything started getting really rough for me. My business partner was pretty tough on me, incredibly stressful for 7 years. Pressure, 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 right? You know, what do they say? Pressure is supposed to create a diamond? Not the truth. Not at all. So, to put it in perspective, the pressure that I was under at that particular time, you know, I had employees in Europe. I had them in California. He was in California. We had employees around the world. I wasn't sleeping much. Okay? I was on lots of energy drinks, and I was on a prescription high dose of ADHD medicine. No sleep, high energy, and I would literally get up at 4 in the morning, be the first guy at the convenience store just to begin my day, and those are how my days went. The acquisition itself was going bad. It wasn't that the acquisition was going to happen. It was the promises being made, the scenario of happening, and I needed to work for this new company. So with the deal that was taking place, you know, with the pressure I was under, I couldn't take it physically, emotionally, and mentally. I quit my own company. So I was the founder, CTO. I walked out 6 weeks before the signature. Okay, so just to put in perspective, I also ended up a year prior diagnosed with a pituitary brain tumor. All right. When they did the biopsy at the University of Miami a couple years later, it was a cortisol cyst wrapped in a cortisol tumor wrapped in a cortisol cyst, something the University of Miami hadn't seen before. We all know what cortisol is, right? It's our stress hormone. So that's what I was going through at the time. Now, for about 3 weeks, at the peak of the stress, for 3 weeks, my deceased mother, my wife's deceased father, started talking to me. Now remember, this has never happened in my life, and it was pretty fun. You know, it took me a moment. I never asked any good questions. You would think you would ask all sorts of things. It wasn't like that at all. So I really don't know what triggered me the day I had my event, but I was angry. I mean, I was laying in my bed, my fists were clenched, and I was, I don't know if I was screaming or not, but I might as well have been screaming, make it stop, make it stop. And what I meant by that is the company, the acquisition, and the business partner. I was done. I couldn't do it anymore. But when that happened, my body lit up as if you'd plug it into a socket, and my back arched up, my stomach was in the air. I mean, it was like literally like a U. It was incredible. I felt something coming out of my body. It was heavy, and it was in the abdomen area. Okay? Then I passed out. Now, I woke up. No miraculous healings, people. No stories from the other side. Okay? I didn't actually check out. What happened is they came in and they ripped my root chakra out. And when they did that, they took all of my trauma from birth up until that moment out of my system. Okay? I still had to deal with life. I still need to deal with the acquisition. I still need to deal with the partner. So I still have those things to figure out. But the interesting thing is, my relatives no longer talk to me. Dead silent. I later found out that when you notice people in a nursing home and they're getting ready to cross over, what do they start doing? They start talking to their loved ones. And you're like, who are you talking to, Ma? Who are you talking to? Well, this is exactly what I experienced. But I didn't go over. So having that experience kind of put a spark in me. I'm like, what just happened and why isn't it here anymore? And it was 2 years before I found out that when they took the root chakra out, they made room for the 13 to step in. They were very quiet. Nothing for 2 years. They were working on me, but I had no idea what had happened. All I know is, hey, Mom, you're gone. I want to get you back. So I started going to psychics. Tell me what happened. And tell me how you do what you do. And it was like crickets. It just breadcrumbs. Like no one could really tell me what had happened to me. And then I started reading books. You can call them how-to manuals. How to be a psychic. how to do remote viewing, how to do, you name it. I was reading the books. Still, nothing. Okay? So, I got a little frustrated, I think, because still nothing was happening. And then I read about you had to change your vessel. If you're going to connect to the other side, you need to be a clean vessel. So, ADHD medicine out the window, no more energy drinks. I removed all the stress in my life. Okay? TV's off, media's off, music's off. I couldn't watch sports. I couldn't watch movies that had horror or violence in it. I would literally get sick to my stomach. Okay? And then I started doing detoxing. Okay? And I did kidney detox, liver detoxes, but it was the heavy metal detox that shifted things. I did it for nearly 8 months. Then I spent a crazy amount of money and had all the metal fillings in my mouth removed. Now, when I did that, a few weeks later, I started sensing crystals. I'm like, oh, something's happening. It was really, really, really cool. And by the way, I can't feel any of that today. I can't feel other people anymore, no empathy. They turned off my ability to sense the energies of other people in that way. They said it would overload my body and me. You'll understand more here in a little bit. So, this still wasn't enough for me. So I'm like, yep, books are done. Now I'm hiring people. So I started finding people to teach me, multidimensionality or remote viewing or whatever it was. Never got to those things. But when we started working together, they were like, why don't you connect to Mars? And I'm like, well, I see this and that. And when I connected, it was a different timeline, but they were also on the journey with me. They're like, yeah, go in the middle of the planet. I'm like, okay. Well, if they're going to something universe, I'm like, okay. And the person that was doing it said, nobody's ever done that before, being able to go to these other universes, right? And I'm like, yeah, all right, sure. It's my money, right? So to me, it was 100% imagination. With somebody else validating on the other end of the phone with the Zoom that, oh yeah, everything's fine. No, I still wasn't buying it. So I had read books also about energy healing. Okay, and I started doing some of the exercises in the books, and I would get people saying, oh yeah, my headache's gone, and I would laugh at them a little bit. Okay, wait, thank you for supporting me. This isn't really happening, right? But then I took Reiki, right? Didn't do anything with Reiki. I simply opened up the energy channels. And in fact, I went to the LA Conscious Life Expo. Gail Thacker was there, and she's like, oh, stamp of approval, you're now, you're a master Reiki, right? Which, the reality is check the box. But she did install the code. So again, now I'm starting to feel energy. I also took a 6-day intensive energy healing course. And I was thinking I was going to be taught how to do these things. And it turned out, with every exercise, I was doing it. I could already do the work. And then, of course, I did the 25 people validation afterwards, every one of them. So now, I'm onto something. I'm like, what's really going on here? So, no confidence. Didn't have confidence. I'm telling you, I went years without confidence, knowing what I was doing. And it wasn't until, I want to say, December of 2020, that something really, really shifted. I got my first download. Now, up until this point, I can't meditate. Never was able to meditate, but when I would drop in, I would go on journeys. Again, my imagination. No one ever talked to me. I never got that connection to spirit or higher self or anything, but in December 2020, I got the message, go into your DNA number 3 and do this thing. I didn't know where it came from, right? That's what downloads are. You don't really know where they come from. So at this point, I can see inside the body, right? And I see it my way. I don't see it like a doctor or an MRI. It's not like that. But when you look at your DNA and you go 3 ladders up in the DNA, and you think of it as a straw, I went into that. And on the left side were 4 drum cymbals. So the drummers, the metal cymbals, but they were vertical. On the right side, there were also 4 of them that were vertical. Now, I got the message, take this one and move it to that position. Okay? Everything started vibrating. The bottom of the tunnel dropped out to a pyramid that looked like it went all the way down, so an upside down pyramid. And I could see all these lights sparkling down. They're like a little city, if that's how you want to see it. And I'm like, oh, that's great. Yeah, cool. And I looked up, and there's a portal in front of me. It was about 30 feet long, okay? And at the end of the portal were 4 very, very tall ETs. Now, they're motionless. You know, they look like they're in long robes, right? They're about 35 feet tall. And they weren't talking to me, but I did get the message, we're your family. And that was it. Now, I didn't know this for several months later when they actually kind of began chatting a little bit, but they are known the Kregs, okay, K-R-E-G-S, and they're 17th dimensional architectures, if you will. So they also told me that I was the 5th one of their particular group. Like, oh, that's great. So let's go back to that moment where I got that activation and they were there. So the next day, I call my buddy. I'm like, hey, this thing just happened. He says, oh, do mine. So I go into his DNA number 3, completely different. 4, 5, 6, all the way up to 12. Every single one was different. A story was told, an activation happened. Memory occurred. So all of these things, ET families came in for him. So at that point, I was calling it DNA resequencing. I don't do much of that right now, but it was an activation process. And it took 2, sometimes 3 hours to go through this whole thing because even at that time, everything was very, very slow. It took me a long time to do any type of healing. If I was working on your back, it would take an hour just to do a little thing. So now, 3 weeks after that, I started having numbness and tingling in my toes. Just very, very soft, right? And when I'm laying in bed, I'm looking at my calf, and it's like little bubbles were popping in, popping out. Like muscle twitches. But it wasn't the whole calf. Just like little things. And that progressed and progressed. And now, 18 months later, and if I got my dates right, my entire body, except for my abdomen, is usually numb. Okay? So if I lay in bed, and if any of you can remember when we were younger, we put those little 9-volt batteries on our tongue, we do that little twitch, that's how my body feels. All right? It is amazing. I will lay there and just soak it up. It's delicious. It is absolutely astonishing. It doesn't hurt. I don't sleep much, okay? But I later found out that what they did is they changed the cellular structure of my body, okay? And when frequencies come down into me, I'm holding those frequencies. So, come on in. So, what this actually means is that when you go to a healer, a channeler, or anybody who's bringing energies through, what they're really doing is they're opening themselves up, energy to come down, flow out into you. And when you're done, they close up and you go home. That is not what happens to me. The energies will come down and they stay in my body. And this is why I vibrate the way I do. Now, why is this important? So, right now, about 25 feet out from me, you guys will feel me. If you haven't already started feeling something, you're going to feel something. It's 25 feet right now. By spring, it's 300 feet, and in 12 months, it's 1 kilometer. Okay? I'm here to do large stuff. Don't we all say that? We're here for a big mission. But when I got my initial visions of what's supposed to happen to me, I validated it with some other psychics that didn't know me. I'm like, tap into me, what do you see? And they say, we see you in front of thousands and thousands and thousands of people in single events. All right? So, the body's doing a lot of things. So, I'm what they call a quantum blueprinter, a quantum scientist, a quantum programmer. Usually people end up in front of me because they have a situation I haven't seen before. So what this means is that when I work on you, what's happening behind the scenes is that quantum programmer piece of me is writing code. They're writing software code, if you will, so that when those energies come down, it knows how to plug it into the human body and to be delivered. Those codes are held in my body. So as you're next to me, as I'm doing my events, without talking to you, without knowing what's happening, these codes are being delivered. So, that's the one thing. I found out 6 weeks ago, I had someone channel me. No, I don't let people connect to me. As you all know, we are very protective of our energy, and let anybody touch us, especially in Sedona, you really need to have your guard up, right? We know this. The woman who worked on me, her name is Sheila Seppi. She is also a walk-in, and she used to running the Conscious Awakening Network, okay, for walk-ins. So I'm like, if I can open myself up, I'm going to do it to her team. Now, she's a replacement. Now, remember, I never left. They just joined me. For her, she checked out the old version, and a brand new soul actually checked in. So I asked her team, like, hey, what's going on with the body? And they said, you are raising the frequency of those people around you, again, 25 feet, and so on and so forth, to their ascension frequency. I'm like, that's interesting. She says, yeah, it really is interesting. It's very, very unique. And the fact that we really spend our lives, if we're in the know, we know, doing our trauma work. Right? We're moving that stuff so we can do what? Raise our frequency. So I'm a cheat code. If you know anything about gaming, you get those little cheat codes, you move up another level really, really fast. This is exactly what happens when you're in front of me. However, there's a catch. If you've never done work, it's going to fall off a day or two later. You'll have the healing, and you're like, oh my God, it's back again. The work wasn't done. Even though I tapped in and did the things I needed to do, it's like an onion. Another one and another one. Now, if you've done the work and you're not quite done, it'll last for 3 or 4 weeks. And then you'll see your life kind of coming back down to where it was before. If you've done your work, it's permanent. It's done. Now, when I do a session, when we talk about healing, it's not just physical. It's emotional, it's spiritual, it's across the board. Okay? When I do a session, often things like life blockages will come in. The financial stuff, the relationship stuff, and I mean the broad term of relationship stuff, right? Other things in your life that you've put out there that are hitting you hard, that knocks you down, so on and so forth, they will show up. Now, I never really ask what the details are, right? I'm there to boom, 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 and move through it. I don't tell much of the story. If you want the story, you're paying a lot of money for the story, but I'll give you the story. But the issue with that is, you'll walk home with the story, and what are you going to focus on? The story. And that's really not the point, because we're releasing the story. So, when I do the sessions, sorry, and by the way, I'm tapping in and out right now, so I'm going to lose my mental place. But when I do the session, Spirit will show me crazy objects, all right? And they're funny. They're absolutely funny, but they show me things in a way that I can interpret them, all right? So lately, blockages in life show up like little saltine crackers with legs, but they're in a block, right? And they'll tell me, oh, I'm a financial problem, or whatever the case is. So once I know what these things are, I literally just put a bubble through them and pull them out. Now, it sounds interesting. When you're in my session, you are coded in sacred geometry. And this is to protect you from other energies, and also to protect me from your energies. And then I put everybody in a sacred geometry pyramid. When I remove things, I move them through the wall of the pyramid, and they go back to wherever they belong. I don't do any damage. I don't annihilate. I think I freaked out the word annihilate before, right? This is just not what I do. Now, you would think that just removing those energies, well, that's fun, right? Great. Now, some people feel them. Like if it's an emotional thing in their heart, there's Kleenex I keep next to the table because the tears will start running. And in Sarasota last week, I did my event. I had 31 sessions, and 27 of them ended up in total raw tears. This is how it happens. They start feeling the energy releases. Now, I have a hard time telling people your life is going to change. It's going to change almost immediately, within hours if not. You will get that phone call. You will get that inspiration. Your abundance will start coming in from different areas. Things in your life that no longer belong energetically will start disappearing and dissipating. I don't know how to market that, right? So the healing though, The first 30 minutes of the session, I go through and I literally ask the question, show me what I need to know next, right? They show me, and they'll come in, they'll tell me if there's danger. Precognition's online now, as about 3 weeks ago. So in the sessions, people are starting to get information about what's coming, what to look out for. Abundance, if abundance is about to flow into them, they'll actually tell me that and they'll show me that. They don't give me the details like, hey, it's going to come from this job or this check or this thing, but they'll definitely let you know that things are happening. Relationship issues are interesting. Sometimes they'll put a little warning out there, hey, be cognizant of a particular situation. And I share. I try not to filter. I do try to use bedside manners, so it's a little softer, but I really do try to filter. So literally the first 30 minutes of the session is me asking, hey, what do I need to know next? Now, once we get all those dense energies out of the way, now we move on to the body. In the beginning of the call, the first 3 or 4 or 5 minutes, we're going to talk. I'm going to say, if you're here for physical healing, tell me what hurts. Tell me what I'm working on. I have people come up to me and say, well, just scan me. Well, that's fine. But if I scan you, that doesn't necessarily mean I'm going to hit your shoulder. Instead, I'm going to work on the heart that's got a problem. You're going to show me the things, and we only have so much time. So I'm like, listen, shoulder hurts, back hurts, knee hurts, disease, condition, just to talk about it right now, because they're listening. Then I'm like, what else do you want? I got this issue, I got that issue, they're listening. And then I forget everything. I don't know what you told me. Maybe I'll remember a little something, but I'll be like, I know you just told me a few minutes ago that something hurt, but you got to tell me, right? And they also stop the person from telling me it was a car accident, it was a birth defect, it was a so-and-so. I have no need for the story. I'm dealing with the energy. I'm not dealing with how the universe presented that energy to us in the form of a condition or a situation, right? The healing has definitely shifted for me when I'm doing this. As I mentioned earlier, it used to take me an hour to do something simple. But now I can go in and I can look at the back and I can say, show me the trauma attached to the condition, all right? Now sometimes it's emotional baggage, if you will. We store emotions in our body. And like a carpet, like if it's your back, I would literally roll your skin down like a carpet and pull it off. Now, it used to be, okay, my gosh, it's on the left side. Is that masculine? Was that feminine? Is that a mom issue? Man, was that a dad issue? It would take me a lot of time to try to fit everything into the box that we all have learned. Certain parts of the body are feminine. No, I don't do that anymore. I don't need to know anymore. I don't need to know what those trapped emotions are. They just fall off. Show me the trauma associated with that part of the body. Will show me an ancestor. Okay? They'll show me a past life. Now, I look at some of that story, but I usually cut those pretty short because I don't need to know what's going on with them. The angels come in, and the angels show up in almost every session, but the angels will come in, and they have their halos, and they literally pull that ancestor or that past life up through that, and when they do that, all the trauma falls out onto the floor, and they go away. The energy that is connected to that trauma disappears in the body in front of me. And I scoop up the mess, put it in a bowl, throw it out the pyramid. Wash, rinse, repeat. Okay, literally over and over and over. Now, once I get the notice that, hey, the trauma's removed, then I do the next thing. So this next phase they have me doing was turned on August 3rd this year. I literally spent 6 months in an upgrade process. And I'll back up to that in a second. But on August 3rd, they told me to go to the Syrian Mystery School. I'm like, oh, this sounds like fun. And I go in there, and the guy is showing me, and he's got this, like we call them public subs in Florida, but a Subway sandwich, right? But it's just a black, like a loaf of bread, but black. He says, watch this. He waved his hand over it, and everything compressed down completely right to this black powder. He said, now watch this. He rubs his hand across it, everything rebuilt like a 3D printer. He says, that's how you do your healing now. And that's literally what I do. If I'm looking on your back, in my mind's eye, I'll wave my hand over the body. It'll disappear as if I'm looking clear to the body. All right? Then I'll wave my hand over it again, and everything rebuilds like a 3D printer. Now there's a catch. If I wave my hand over the body part, and I see anything in there that's still there, it's a red flag. Something is interfering with our healing. All right. And that's when I really have to start going to work. Now, things that interfere with the healing, the ego is number one. She or he will literally keep you in discomfort as long as possible. So there's an exercise I take the client through so they can learn how to tame the ego. So there's that. There's also darker energies. I've dealt with black magic, white magic, and the magic we put on ourselves. I deal with the jinns. Oh my God, they are no fun. They are so sassy, all right? And they don't like to tell you the truth either, right? So I deal with the jinns. I deal with the darker stuff, and we'll let you fill in the blank with that. And I can remove those out of the body as well. So when I do that, that discrepancy in the body will just disappear. And then I can go on to healing. Now there's two last tricks I use. I call them tricks, but they're tools in the tool belt. I take a syringe, no needle, just a suction syringe, right? And I pull the pain out of the body. It's a white fluid, or white energy. I do the same thing, and I call it my yellow filter. And this is the condition in another dimension. So if I tap into the body, sometimes I'll see critters in there. All right? It could be animals. It could be just crazy stuff forms in the body. And it's just the energy trying to represent itself in a form. I pull them out with that. Then I have the person stand up. Bend over. Move your back. Usually done. Not so much for your Sedona folks. You guys have an interesting twist on the healing that I've done. But usually it's pretty instant. I had a gentleman walk in last Saturday up in Sarasota, where I did my event. It was the last day of my personal sessions, and the guy walks in, and he's all hunched over. And he had an accident 20 years ago. He's, our age, 55, 60, right? And he had pain in his fingers and in his extremities, and the doctors were lasering. That's what lasering, burning. That's burning the nerve endings and his spine, right? So this is what he was going through, and he was done. So he wasn't spiritual, none. And I looked at him and said, okay, just give me a few moments. 3 ancestors in 2 past lives. He was in and out in 7 minutes. He got out of the chair. He was 3 inches taller. His back was straight. He had no more pain. Him and his wife were in tears and they left. Every session I had in Sarasota was literally the same thing. So things happen fast, really, really fast. I'm going to back up a second. We talk about the 13 inside of me. I didn't know there was 13. I was told 2 or 3 years ago, you were a walk-in. Okay. And then interesting enough, over the course of 2 or 3 weeks, I got that message 2 more times from completely independent people I did not know. So now things are kind of making sense because I read about the walk-ins. And I'm like, oh, these guys got something going on. Right? Well, that's kind of cool. But then I get a message 3 or 4 weeks later, says you're a master activator. That sounds fun. What is that? So a master activator is someone a light worker, who is ready for the next piece, the next thing, the next whatever, will find themselves in front of somebody who will turn them on, turn them up, or move them to the next thing. That happens. It happens more than you know. I will remove the blockages, and next thing you know, ETs are coming down, or angels are coming down, and they're doing activations. Now, the activations that are done are 100% personalized. It's not like we would say, come to this event and do the 8 energy activations, or what's tomorrow, 11/11, or the 11/11 portals. It's not like that. It's not like that at all. What comes down is exactly for you. And they will tell you what's happening. They will tell you what's going on, and then I will channel, and they come through. So, April 1st, I had an activation done on me, and I was then told there were 13. Before that, I thought there was just one. Remember, they were not China Kathy. I did not know what was happening. So when that happened, from April 1st up until the end of August, I was in this transition period where they were all coming online, kind of waking up, or maybe perhaps I was waking up to their existence. And I later found out they didn't play well together. when I would look at them, I would see them at a round table, like a boardroom table, right? All 13, and it's like kids on their cell phones. Like they weren't actually talking to each other, and this was a problem. Because the gifts that they bring in, and each one of them bring a skill set, a gift, an energy, or something like that. Because they weren't playing together, it was slowing down my progression. So I was told this, and I gotta tell you, I waited 3 or 4 days. Because I'm like, I don't want to mess with these guys. I got something good going on here. Do I really want to upset the apple cart, right? I bit the bullet, and I merged them all together. And now my higher self, which is inside of me, it also came down, manages them. And when I look at that table, it's nothing but rainbow energy all around it. 48 hours after I did that, my energy and my body just went haywire. Earlier, you guys were talking to me, you told me I couldn't stop talking, right? Well, that's what happened that day. Once everything merged and everything started sinking, I couldn't stop the speed of my voice. I couldn't stop the energies that were happening, right? So, this time last year, my team said you have training wheels on, all right? I'm like, okay, I'm still trying to figure out this stuff, and all the healing's taking a long time. Over the summer, they said you're in first year of a 10-speed bike, and you have a lot of 10-speed bikes coming. I'm like, okay, that's great. Last week, on Tuesday, I got done with my lecture. I'm laying in bed, just relaxing, and I see my team on my right-hand corner. So I have the 13 in me, and then I have the Craigs, which I talked about earlier. Now, the Craigs, they don't talk much. They're kind of boring, to be honest with you. And even when they channel messages, it's really short. Like, they're not giving me a lot of stuff. And they've never moved. I mean, they'll move a little bit, but there's, I can't. The only reason I can even see them is because they're presenting themselves in a way that I can identify they're even there. All right? They're just light. They're 17-dimensional. Everything above 8-dimensional, I guess, is light. Doesn't even matter. I don't care about the dimensions. But the point is, these guys never moved. Tuesday night, they moved. There was 13 of them. 12 of them walked out of the room, left one in there who bolted the door shut. I'm like, this can't be good. This can't be good. Put me in the middle of the room, and they shot me up, and up, and up, or out, and out, and out. Now, I travel universes all the time when I'm doing my thing. This was a very, very different experience. They've been holding me in this pattern for 9 days now. And they told me, welcome to second gear of the 10-speed bike. And now I'm in Sedona. So, what does that mean? This is the next evolution. And I'm here for a reason, all right? Sedona has kept me undercover, as Tasha mentioned. They needed to groom me to work in front of people, to work at events. Now, I don't have a problem talking to people. I have no anxiety, none. No stage fright. It doesn't matter who I'm in front of, or how many people I'm in front of, or what I'm doing. There is nothing that comes through. I have no fear. When I'm up there doing a thing and I see the really nasty stuff, there's no emotion, no fear. I can deal with a reptilian, nose to nose, and negotiate without having anything happen. It's really, really interesting. If you show fear, they build on it and build on it. So, the other thing I was told, I'm sorry?
Sorry.
Okay. The other thing that happens a lot are the ETs will show up in the session. Now, if you're familiar with all this ET stuff happening right now, and I don't necessarily mean Sedona ET stuff, but generally, we know about the Galactic Federation group and the stuff that they're doing out there. I'm not part of it at all. The Andromedans, Arcturians, the Pleiadians, the Orion Sirians, no, they don't come to me. All right? I'm a backdoor, authorized backdoor channel, if you will, around all of them. The ETs that come through are the high-dimensional ones that cannot reach low enough to reach the people they need to reach. Here comes me, and what am I doing with your frequency? I'm bringing you up. And then I'm the bridge between you and your family. They will come in, I will introduce you, you will get a name, you will ask some basic questions, and now you will begin your next journey with your ET family. I like to say I'm a match.com for ETs. All right? So, I never ask what the ETs are. I never get names. I use my discernment. I'm really good at my discernment. I won't let anything in unless it passes my sniff test, right? They've taught me how to ensure nothing is in the session that doesn't belong. So the ET stuff is really, really interesting. They come to me all the time in my sessions, and sometimes they work on me, but ultimately, whatever's going on with me, I think they've got it covered with the whole thing. The Craigs keep handing me up a ladder, and they showed me one day, they said, if you can imagine those firemen on the ladder with those buckets, they pass the bucket up. Well, that's what the ETs, that's what my family, the Craigs, are doing. So now let me really confuse you. The Craigs aren't my family. They're my family for this universe. Okay? I was created in between universes, all right, which gives me access to everything. And these are the energies and the technologies that comes through to me. Now we talk about the healing energies. This is just what's going on right now. As I mentioned, I'm a quantum scientist. Right now, I'm not allowed to listen to channelers, messages, YouTube videos, not even newsletters. I'm not allowed to read any books. They want me shut down. They don't want me to have a biased opinion on any topic. Okay? Again, going back to my body, it's holding these codes. Well, the other thing they're doing, which I found out from Sheila Seppi's team, they are installing a library in my body, a library of knowledge that will come online in spring 2024. And at that point, I will then be channeling information about whatever's there. And no, I actually don't ask what the topics are. When I channel today, they won't channel ET information. They won't channel technology information. They won't channel anything that's going on in the world. The only thing that channel does when it comes through, it's for you. And it's your message. And they last for 45 minutes, and they last that long. So, I'm a lot of check boxes. But I just came out of first year. Right? So this is going to continue and continue and continue. And again, I'll be on stage in front of thousands and thousands of people doing what you guys get to experience tonight. So, you guys ready to move on?
Yeah.
Does everybody have any questions on all of that yet? Yeah.
Okay, when you said that you have to do the work,
Yeah.
you mentioned that none of this will stay unless you do the work. What is the work?
Shadow work. What is my trauma? What am I holding inside? What are my fears? What are the emotions that are
So
trapped
you
in me?
have to expose it. And
To yourself, your own shadow work. Now, you can do what a lot of people do, is they go find someone to help them. Because I gotta tell you, trying to solve your own trauma is so hard. I can't even tap into myself very well, right? Every healer needs a healer. Every psychic needs a psychic. And I strongly encourage you, if you are doing that work, don't struggle. Find the one you trust. Find the one that works for you. Because you all resonate with somebody or something out there. And when you do that, keep doing it, keep pushing through it. It'll allow the trauma to release. The ancestral, the past life, the current life, those energies out there you're balancing in this lifetime. When those get balanced, you rise. It's literally like a hot air balloon with those sandbags. Every time you do the work, a bag comes off. You go higher. So, but I'm kind of that guy in that bag, in the basket, kind of cutting the ropes rapidly. But again, comes in layers. Does that help? Okay. Anybody else have any questions that we've talked about so far? Okay, so usually I will grab somebody out of the crowd and just do a healing. So the point is, most of you guys have already had something done. And I do limit it to just a few things. Neck, shoulder, back, or knees. I love knees. But they gotta get healing right now. So you can go to attrition. What's going on with you?
Oh, I got a lot going on.
Okay, so you're interested. Is anybody else interested? I'm only going to pick one person. You are. Do you guys want to arm wrestle?
Sure, I'll honestly,
Whatever. All right, so what do you have going on real quick? Just one thing, though.
One thing. You want it to be physical, like the shoulders.
You need to be having pain and discomfort right now. And again, shoulder, lower back, knee, because those are the ones that are easiest in terms of me doing something quick. Now, it's...
I'll be honest with you, I have all those issues, but they're not hurting me right now.
Okay, I need to hit right now, because otherwise you can't validate.
I'm hearing right now.
You have one hurt? You got a session coming up.
Okay.
I got knees.
You get knees. Let me do his knees. Oh, let me do your knees. So what's going on with your knees?
I'm feeling like an old man with my knees getting pain and they're inflamed.
Okay, so which knee?
Both of them.
Okay, both of them. And like I said, if you move right now, they're popping everything.
They're stiff and swollen.
Okay.
And when I try and bend them when I'm walking, it affects my hips too.
Okay, right, because of posture. So, and was it Daniel or Daniel? Okay, so give me a second, and then I'm gonna tap in, and we'll see what kind of magic happens here for you. So, you look like you're in Disney Wonderland, or not Disney Wonderland, but Wonderland. Like right now, your right body's looking like it's like, holy crap, Alice in Wonderland kind of thing. That's how he's presenting to me. So over here. Okay, so we have trap trauma. Well, show me what. And by the way, it's hard for me to describe what I'm doing, so I'm going to be mumbling a little bit. I'm just going to be doing the work. I'll do my best to describe. So team, show me the trauma attached to that. So I've got this face over here, and it's actually screaming at me, right? So definitely war stuff, and I don't know. It's something like there's a chariot, but a lot of screaming, a lot of damage to the knees in this particular case. But I'll go straight to the body, and this actually made the guy fall, which then led to his death. Angels, come in. And then just wait. Pull that off. Okay, and I actually see energy happening around the knee now. Okay, what is the next thing I need to know, please? So I'm actually seeing sword fight, and literally cut. Bring that version of him up. And this version is actually telling me I failed. So this is part of the trauma of that particular person, right? So lost the battle, whatever you call it, but he's in trauma because he failed at whatever he was doing. Angels? By the way, with my eyes open, it's just easier with their closed because I do my thing. Okay, so now we're going to see, give me a second. All the way away. And this is when I'm doing the hand thing. Rebuild it. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and add some cushioning in there. Relax the muscle. Pop that. Okay, hold on. Now we'll do the pain. The other one. Okay, now move your left leg.
Feels great.
Yeah, you want to stand up and walk around on it? Let me know if it's popping.
Yeah, I feel younger.
Yeah. So, again, right? I got lucky. You're not from Sedona. I'm kidding. So, again, so this is what I do. And I'll post around the crowd and I'll do that, right? And, when I first started doing that, I'm like, do I really want to open that door? Because if it doesn't work, yeah, I'm putting this down and I'm probably running for the car, right? So that's kind of what happens in a session. But again, it's just a knee. Now think about your knee being here, but also those blockages and financial. All this stuff. Are you able to hear me okay? You're looking at me. Let me make sure you're okay. This one here. Yeah.
Oh, I was just feeling my neck.
Oh, yeah. So you are all being worked on right now. All right. And that's why I told you in the beginning to take note of how you feel and then how you feel in the end. Because everybody's picking up on what's happening right now. And I will not know. I didn't see it coming. I will not know what's going on. All right, with the recession. So I want to give you guys an experience now. All right, and this is a little bit on what's going to happen on Tuesday night. All right, so this is where you guys actually have to do some work. You have to visualize, but don't worry, you can't get it wrong. If I'm going too fast or too slow and you can't keep up, or you find yourself way in front of me or way behind, it really doesn't matter. If I tell you to go on the beach and you're on a horse, wonderful. Nothing is wrong. You literally can't do anything wrong. You guys are great timing. Seriously. I'm going to give everyone a second here and let those guys settle in, and then we'll get settled in. If you guys have your phones on, can you just turn those ringers off? Thank you. So this next piece will take about 15 or 20 minutes or so. All right? I'm telling you. Notice what you notice. All right. Just give everyone a second here, just for those guys. And this just happens. Like, I don't actually know what just came out. If I'm in a session and the light language comes out, I'll know exactly what they're saying to you. In some of the other sessions where I look into your eye, and I'll have you stare in my eye, and I'll get this far from you, and I will literally use that activations, those light codes, to release the heart, the blockages in the heart, because the heart won't let me in. Other times, these will be activations. I had the lady who runs the Sarasota Cosmic Center. One of the first things I had done for her, she sat down, and I'm like, you have an activation coming. And Yeshua showed up. And he shows up in all my stuff. Right? Jesus, Yeshua. I just like that name better, Yeshua. So he gets behind her. I'm in front of her. And I've got this energy coming out of my heart. And he's behind her. And he's putting energy into her heart. So she's getting it from both of us, right? And he tells me, tell her to speak light language. And I says, hey, Sharon, you can speak light language. Open your mouth and let it flow. And sure as shit, she started speaking light language. And now she's been doing it ever since. Activations, right? You guys ready? Yeah? Okay. So I want everyone to just kind of close your eyes, drop in the heart, and I'm going to take you through this process. So just please visualize a blue spear above my head, a blue ball, glowing, if you will. And you're going to take this blue spear, you're going to bring it in, and you're going to pull it into your heart. Please do that. What this is doing is this is putting a protection bubble around you so nobody else's energy interferes with yours. It'll also connecting our higher self together. So we begin. Okay, I'm opening the crystal grids. And they're growing up. And they're connecting to your lower spine. A little higher, mid-back. It's like a crystal that's growing. About your mid-shoulder blade. A little higher. It's going all the way up into the base of the cranium. Please visualize tree roots growing from the bottom of your heart. Allow these tree roots to go down your torso and down each of your legs, past your knees, down into your feet, and out into Mother Earth. Continue growing these tree roots down further and further and further, all the way down to you hit the core of the earth. When you see that, wrap those tree roots 3 times around, counterclockwise. 1, 2, 3, and then pull them nice and snug with love. And open up the galactic realms now, the galactic realms. Please visualize the pink light from the Sirius star system. Allow that pink light to come down through the crown, down through the throat chakra, and anchor in to the top of the heart. Grow that light a little brighter, a little wider, a little thicker. Please visualize the white light from the Octana star system. Allow this to come down through the crown, down through the throat, and again, anchor into the top of the heart. A little wider, a little brighter, a little thicker. Going to open up the divinity realm now. Visualize by your feet a 3-foot circle of gold. You're standing on this. You'll visualize the violet flame from Saint Germain, nice and soft. When you observe yourself from the observer view, you're translucent, you can see through you. As this flame begins to grow above your feet, above your ankles, it is moving in and out of your body without resistance. A little larger, past the calves, by the knees. Just feel it moving in and out. It's very soft, very gentle. It's moving the energies through the body. It continues to go up past the mid-thighs. A little higher, lower waist. Lower hips. A little more. It's up to the hip level now. The flame's getting brighter. Moving up the abdomen and the back. Just below your rib cage. Halfway up your rib cage. Reaching your shoulders, and your hands are beside you. Your arms are also wrapped in this beautiful, beautiful light. These beautiful violet flames. It's past your shoulder. Higher and higher and higher. And now you cannot see your face, your body. You're completely engulfed in Saint Germain's violet flame as it moves the energies through your body. And now I'm opening up the higher realm energy. Please visualize a white diamond plasma. This white diamond plasma comes from a place beyond source. It moves through source. It comes down into the top of the head. Moves down and enters the top of the spine. Like a beautiful thick paint, this white diamond plasma begins to move down your spine, coating all of it, down by the shoulders, further, further, mid-shoulder blades. Feel it coming down. Middle of the back, middle of the lower back. Continues down, all the way down, lower back. And now it enters your tailbone. Visualize your tailbone becoming incredibly bright white. So white it's almost hard to look at. Now, visualize white tree roots growing out of your tailbone. Again, they will go down both of your legs, slowly, 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 further down past your knees. Continue to grow those tree roots again into the feet and into Mother Earth. Continue the journey and move those tree roots further and further down, all the way down until again you see the center of the earth. Take those white tree roots and wrap them around counterclockwise 3 times. 1, 2, and 3. Pull them nice and snug with love. Now, please visualize your bubble of heart energy inside your heart, a bubble. And in a moment, we're going to exhale. When we exhale, we're going to expand that bubble so it ends up 6 feet all around you with you inside of the bubble. So breathe in, exhale, and expand that bubble around you. Please visualize a green tunnel, a green tunnel of light. At the one end of this tunnel, we're going to see your heart. Sometimes it helps to see your heart as a beautiful red rose. I want you to open up that beautiful red rose so it's bloomed. Open up your heart. At the other end of that green tunnel is my heart. It looks like a 1,000-petal white lotus. Both these hearts are in that tube. Look at my heart, and you're going to see little pink heart emojis or little pink hearts coming out of mine, and they're bouncing and moving down. And I want you to visualize those hearts, those beautiful pink hearts, being absorbed by your heart. Next one, and the next one, and the next one. For the next few moments, that is the only thing you'll have to do. Please watch those hearts. Maria Jichkubu, maintain that for the next few minutes. Stay focused. The energies are being delivered. Keep holding it, keep holding it. You're almost there. Hang on, hang on. Not done yet. Okay. You can come out of that when you're ready. How's everyone feeling? Nice? So just out of curiosity, everyone's going to be different. I don't know what was delivered to you, but I will tell you this. When I have my eyes closed and when that's silent, I can see all the energy flowing through everyone, and this was different because there was a lot of energy that came from down there, Sedona, straight up through you guys. All right? So whatever special thing you got going on here, you got a little special right now. Curious, just to raise your hands, how many had an experience of something? Like that? You get a little higher, folks. Right. So, how many had visualizations, sparkling lights and things like that? Yeah. Okay. You had it? Okay. How many like emotional? Okay. Not that many. That's fine. So, here's the fine print. You're going to feel these for 7 days. Okay. You're going to have ups and you're going to have downs. You're going to have, everyone's different. This is what's reported to me. Then you're going to have insomnia. Some of you won't stop sleeping. The men will end up on the couch in the fetal position, letting the tears out as the release happens. Things in your life that no longer serve you will start dropping out. Your energetic cords that don't serve you have been cut. The physical healing is beginning. And again, I can't tell you what they worked on. Okay? Everybody's different. Now, this was just a little bit. On Tuesday night, it's about 45 minutes, possibly an hour. Okay? And then depending on how many people are in the room Tuesday night, I'll tap into you if you want me to. And if there's still something that needs to be done, like your knee, like we just did, I'll do that. I did that in Sarasota last week. right? And we sat there for an hour and a half, and I just boom, boom, boom. But then he asked some really crazy questions. Tell me about the body image. Why do you have a body image? And they actually channeled through to help the audience understand why we always look at ourselves in the mirror and we critique ourselves. Why isn't this right? Why isn't that right? So that came through. And so these are the things that happen. It's total Q&A. So I gotta tell you, hour and 10 minutes or so, and I didn't even look at my paper. I'm not sure if that's good or bad. I don't know. So it's open now. You guys want to ask me questions? I'm here. If not, I will. Yeah.
Well, not so much questions about, but she gave me your website.
Yeah.
Do you have sessions while you're here?
I do. I have Monday and Tuesday morning-ish available. Those are left. Yeah. So if there's a link on there, up there, and you can use QR code, which does work. So private sessions, do the QR code.
It's Tuesday morning, you said?
When you do the QR code, it will give you the calendar. All right. So, and I want to emphasize, it's great when I'm in person, but it doesn't matter. The biggest difference right now is $50 cheaper. When you go to the website, it's $300 for the session. When you go to the website for the transformational healing, which is kind of the little piece you got right now, it's $100. But it's $75 here. So this is kind of what I do to kind of get people in there to say, hey, have an experience, right? Just have an experience. And if it's something you resonate with, go ahead and do it. Now, there is something else I want to add. So during that, I had pressure in my chest. All right, this started about 6 weeks ago. I thought I'd opened up a new muscle in my heart. But then I'm like, I thought I was open. Like what's going on? So when I jumped into my sessions, I would begin to see these white and red ribbon energies moving around the person. Then I found out, well, what I ended up doing at that point is I kind of stepped aside and I said, heart, heal. And it was doing it. I had a lady with Parkinson's. All right, she hadn't been diagnosed yet, but she just had a test done, and she, all the shaking, and in the session, the shaking stopped. All right, and it stopped for almost 2 days. Now, she's a classic case of there's a lot of energies up there she has to balance, and this is part of that. So she's not going to be healed, but the point is the heart was able to stop it for a little while, and now the heart has stepped in. The beauty of this is I don't do anything. I eat popcorn, drink a beer. I'm kidding. No. So, but the heart does it, right? And I don't know what the heart's doing. I can tap in, and it'll show me. I can see exactly what's happening, but the heart's in control. Now, I had asked Sheila Seppi about 6 weeks ago, again, the lady who told me what was happening in my body, what is this pain? Well, it's not pain, pressure. And they come through, and they said, you have tapped in to the etheric field. I'm like, okay, right? I mean, we kind of all are. They said, no. They said the human body, or the human, has more than 12 different energy layers around us. The ones we know of are the physical, the emotional, I guess the causal, if you will, but there's also celestial. I know, there's 12 of these. I don't know them, right? I don't read books. I'm not allowed to. So they said what you tapped into was the heart of the new human. I'm like, well, that's interesting. She says, no, you don't quite understand yet. I said, okay. She says, well, explain. They said very few people have actually pushed through that energetic layer, and now that you've done that, and now that you're connected to the heart of the human, you are connected to the heart of the new human, of everybody on the planet. And this is why, when somebody comes to me and says, hey, my kid's name is Joey, why isn't he talking to me? I'm like, I just need a first name. And Joey will come through. I can literally tap into anybody. I was at dinner the other day with a friend of mine who used to live in Sedona, and she's giving me the runaround. She says, I've never met Elkhart Toll. I said, okay. And she said, someone told me this thing. Now, I'm not going to talk about him, but something told me that this is the thing going on with him. I'm like, okay, you want to ask? And I did. And I tapped into him. And she got an answer, and we were both just blown away and shocked by what he had mentioned and said. And no, I'm not talking about it. The point is, I can connect to anything now. And again, the energy, the thing I'm doing is healing the heart of the new human and the new ascension piece. So, I wanted to show that. I think I missed it in the lecture. It was probably on page 8. So, anybody else have questions I can help answer?
Well,
Yeah.
when you had us do the
white plasma
Yeah.
down through. I really like that. I've used that myself.
Oh, yeah.
It just sort of appears sometimes.
Yeah.
And I use the violet flame. So now I'm feeling like I want to keep coughing because my throat feels very activated.
Okay.
It's like,
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know what happened.
And it's hard for me to say. I mean, I could probably tap into you, but I mean, at the end of the day, you just kind of let things flow. You know, whatever being released is being released and activated. So, anybody else have any questions I can answer? Yeah.
I see people who are not physical, and I don't know if they're projections from me or whether there's actually some spirit.
You are half in and half out of a dimension. While you're sitting here physically with your eyes open looking at me, there's another aspect of you that's sitting right next to you, not literally sitting right next to you, that is actually looking at the other energy levels, the other dimensions, the other frequencies. The two of you are connected and merged, if you will. So what that is seeing is actually, you're actually looking through the eyes of that other aspect of you. Okay? Alright, sorry, I know that's what they do. Anybody else have any questions they want to ask? Oh, you got it. Come up here and talk louder. What? Sorry.
Could you kind of repeat what you said about the 13 soul grade?
The whole 13 thing real quick, or? Oh, okay, excellent. So real quick here, I'm what they call a walk-in. And just a quick summary, 6 years ago I had a near-death experience, which really wasn't a near-death experience. I didn't go over, I had no funny stories to tell, no spontaneous healing. But what happened is my root chakra was ripped out, all of my trauma was ripped out, and 13 versions of me, or aspects of me, stepped in. Alright? Think about one version is a linguist. He handles all the light language that comes through. Another one's a scientist. So on and so forth. All the 13 have a different job, and I don't know what those jobs are, but they're physically modifying my body, which is kind of what you experienced a little bit today. I don't know if that answers your question. Enough of you have more deeper questions. Go ahead. Yeah.
What about time?
What about time?
In all the different dimensions and different versions of yourself and all of that, does time influence any of it?
Well, time is a human thing. Everything's happening all at once. We've always heard that, right? Everything's happening. Every version of me in the future, past, present, because there's no future, past, present. Everything's happening right now. It's hard even for me to grasp. It really, really is. But when I'm tapping into an ancestor from Rome, who's tapping into your energy right now, affecting your body, that's happening in real time. It's not time. Everything's happening at once. I can't even grasp my mind around it. They haven't come in yet. Again, that's going to happen in spring, when they start bringing in the information and the knowledge on deeper topics like that.
Are you talking about like different consciousness and like higher beings, things like that?
In terms of what I'm tapping into?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, these are advanced souls. You know, the scientist in me was, a part of Atlantis. I think we all were, right? But a part of Atlantis was a scientist in Atlantis who brought in energies and did things over there. So again, in his world, it's still happening. Does that help?
Yeah.
I mean, it's even hard for me to grasp.
I mean, I was researching your website and reading all that stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, a lot of it is like hard to comprehend.
It is, and I gotta tell you, I don't do messaging very well. And everyone's like, I read your website and I kind of resonate with it. I'm really, because I don't even know what's on it. Like, I don't even know how to tell people what I do, because the word healer is a very beautiful term used by 1,000 different professions and modalities, right? How do I explain that? The other thing is, I'm not allowed to advertise. Everything I do has to be through word of mouth. Jana. So, that's the only way I grow. And I'm here to grow from word of mouth. So, as you feel called to it, as there are things you want to assist me with and move me up the ladder of whatever that means to get me in front of 1,000 of people, that's literally why I'm here. The sessions are bonus. Yeah.
I'm just curious, how did John find you?
Tasha told you, and then Tasha knew sort of somebody in Sarasota who kind of knew me. And that's kind of how these things work. Just they bounce all around. Yeah.
Do we all also have these other aspects that we don't,
Yeah.
just not aware of? Or
Don't have access to.
oh, okay.
don't have access to. So at the human level, you don't have access to it. They move up a couple layers. They tell me 3 layers above, so 3 energy layers above. So not quite 3 higher selves above, but I'm not quite sure what they mean by that. Those 3 layers then have access to all versions of you, kind of like the oversoul concept. So yes, you don't, and I don't necessarily, like I can't go into, person number 3 and tap into their reality and experience them, even though they're here experiencing me. It's kind of one way right now. They tell me I am doing the same thing for them in their reality, but I don't know what that means. Yeah, I don't have access to that. And by the way, I don't astral travel. My dreams are my dog, right? Nothing, right? I don't, they're not chatty Cathy. They're not in my ears all the time, right? I don't, they won't let me know what I'm doing. They said if I knew what I was doing in the astral, those things would follow me back and it'd be a very dangerous situation for me. And I'm like, got it. Perfectly fine with that. Bring on the dog. So, yeah, very different. Yeah.
Does love transmute or neutralize anything that's nefarious?
Everything. Love is the highest frequency. At least in our understanding of it. Now, they've explained to me that there are frequencies above that aren't measurable and aren't quite ready to be exposed to humanity. They've kind of explained that to me. But love is like the top of the chart, period, right? Now, does it transmute? Are you ready for it to? I mean, you have to be ready to release. And when you're ready to release those higher frequencies, the high frequencies cannot occupy the same space as the lower frequencies, the trauma. They do not coexist. They're oil and water, all right? But if you're not going to release, the love frequency will start dropping down, right, to match the lower frequencies. And that's why we have the love of the world, but when bad things happen, and then more, and then more, and then more, this is just those frequencies compounding and kind of pressing down. And I'm not sure if that answered your question or not. It does transmute, but there are conditions where it transmutes. All right? Does that help?
Well, the question was, does it neutralize or transmute?
Okay, so if you have a glass of water and you put oil into it, is it really transmuting it, or is it pushing it out? It's pushing. They don't occupy the same space. Okay, so love is not battling the other energies. They transmute in that sense. Energy doesn't ever leave. It just moves from one state to another. And what's ultimately happening is love, that frequency, is pushing those lower frequencies somewhere else. Somewhere else. It's all it's doing. They're just not occupying the same space. And I'm sorry if I'm not quite understanding the question.
It's okay.
Did you get the information? Okay, cool. Anybody else? We're done? That means dinner, right?
So I don't know, because we came in late, so I don't.
That's okay.
I don't know what you said, but what about anything, about UAPs or extraterrestrial type things?
Okay, specifically, what kind of question would that be?
They generally can come in on a different plane and a different dimension.
Yeah.
More so than physical.
Mm-hmm.
And would you say that those dimensions are the same as the other dimensions or realms that we're on?
I would say wait till spring.
That's what I keep hearing.
No, let me explain.
No, I mean from like.
No, this is a different context.
Okay.
I can't answer that question because they won't let me have the information until spring 2024.
Okay.
Okay, so this is me. There's upgrades happening in my body. There's a library being installed that comes online in the spring, and then I can answer those questions. I can't. They literally won't even talk that. Okay, perfect. Sorry. Yeah, I thought you were spring thing, and now it's me. It's like no.
No, I understand that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Anybody else? All right, we're good. I thank you, everyone. If you guys like this, spread the word, and Tuesday's going to be fun. Thank you.